you really care about the bigger picture, obviously, I mean, like you said, what do you have to lose? Everything, by not doing anything, you totally lose everything. So I don't understand. But it's to me, it just speaks fear. It's given like they're just scared or something. They don't want to.
It's also not just that. It's also just they clearly have primary motivation, and their secondary motivation is to speak to the people. And whether that primary motivation is their own power, or it's the power of their patrons, or whatever it might be, they don't know who they stand for, who they stand with, and it shows. Like, it's the easiest thing for a human being to pick up on. Like, we know it intuitively. Like, it's part of our survival instinct. Like, when someone's trying to sell you a bill of goods, like, we all develop that sixth sense over time. Because if we don't, we're constantly getting worked and exploited. So, when you show up and you're inauthentic and you don't, say what you believe in, people pick up on that so easily. And they think that they can just, a lot of these people, right? I'm talking about a certain part of the party. They think they can just sort of get away with it and do this whole who else you're going to vote for thing. And it just, like, how many times do you have to either, like, win by the skin of your teeth against an opponent that you should crush, or just, like, lose to someone you never should have lost to before you understand that, like, it's you're the problem. Like, you need to do something about this. I mean, like, how many times do you have to fail in the same way? And I've been watching this since, Al Gore in 2000. It's painful.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, bro. We need a movement in this country. We need a movement that can meet the new dynamic in our country, right? The Democratic Party is in disarray. Whatever remnants of the Republican Party that are left, they're in disarray, right? Right? So you got that segment. MAGA is now in charge. MAGA, the political MAGA is now at the head of this country. That whole movement, and we need to have a movement that opposes that, a movement that skillfully integrates people from all walks of life, all types of background, that really understand it. Because imagine if the people who really understood this, what's going on in this country, had a home, had a place to go. We don't have that right now. I mean, you could stick with the Democratic Party, but its ineffectiveness is well known, right? So far they really haven't. In all these last 6.5 months or wherever we are, they have just shown that they are inept and really, really stirring the hearts of America. The No Kings protests, that's a tip of the iceberg of what is possible in our country. But I mean, people have to stand up. We have to understand, and it's got to be we the people. Maybe that could be the name of the movement, we the people. I don't know, but this shit cannot continue to go on. I mean, it's absurd at this point.
Yeah, it seems to me to be a strategy of blocking stuff. No kings, opposed to pro this. You know what I'm saying, Robert, whoever else may be listening in. Where's the pro this program? And even Donald Trump, when he studied, he had to pretend like he wasn't with the 2025. He had to act like he didn't know anything about it. And then coincidentally, like when you look at this big, beautiful bill and put the 2025 on top of it, you see the
You hear this shit, Midas? You think these motherfuckers are gonna fix anything?
But to not have a pro plan,
fucking fakes, all of them. Bunch of
say,
liars,
the Democratic,
scammers,
in a
propaganda.
Nice way, in a Democratic
Bingo!
system, two sides at least. Could be 3, 4, 5 sides, different parties, but you gotta have at least two. But so you gotta have enough of a real competitor to in order for the thing to really operate efficiently and look out for the best interests and have to fine tune itself in a good way. You have to have a worthy competitor. So therefore I go to something that we all just saw, basketball, NBA, for those that follow that. If you don't have a team that can stand up to the other team, and you know, and you're watching it just 140 to 20 ends the final score. That's not what's happening in the NBA. But in this regard, when you come back to the political competition, it's like, where's the energy to match that energy that's coming? And that energy is pedal to the metal, full-throated Supreme Court justices. But you know, man, it's damn near just make a whole new constitution type thing, you know, in front of our eyes here. And so, like you said, something, Your Honor, that I see a lot of truth in, where different, maybe not even in a political sense, but different leaders in this 330 million population are going to show up for sure. It's, you know, the regional leader or whatever, even if it's not in the political sense. What are your thoughts?
Wow, that was deep. But I think we are in agreement. So the question becomes, because this movement can't take place on Clubhouse, it's got to take place another way. It's got to be a groundswell. My role, what I've been doing, is just utilizing my social media platforms to promote. You know, and this is not a drill concept, because I think a lot of people just think that this is going to go away. They think it's a test. They you know, it's like, no, action has to happen. Action has to happen. You allow a snake to be a snake, it's going to bite you. It's going to bite you. There's no niceties about it. Like, you have to respect the fact that this is and I'm not saying he's a snake, but when you have a danger that's an obvious danger, you have to prepare yourself. Well, a couple of things to avoid that or eliminate it, because eventually the only thing it's going to do, the eventuality of the reality is quite evident. If we keep going in this direction, we now, in light of what has happened, we now have an idea of the direction of where we're going. Before, it was, how you know it's going to be bad? Give him a shot, right? That was the rhetoric during the campaign. Well, now, instead of Mr. Trump subsiding from some of his outlandish claims during his campaign, he's actually executing them, right? The infrastructure has been set. The infrastructure was in place all of these years. And so now, in his second term, he's able to leverage that infrastructure, starting with the Supreme Court and countless other people in this country that have been strategically put in position so that when it comes to legislation, when it comes to rolling out the agenda, their agents are in place. And so I say to, in particular, Democrat, what if y'all been doing all these years? Like, does it really take this long to respond? Like, and how could you be caught this off guard? Like, this off guard? I can understand you can, but golly, like, they are just really struggling to galvanize. And so people have been asleep at the wheel. Maybe they can participate in this new movement, you know, but we need this new movement that I speak of. It's got to come from the ground up. I don't have all the answers, but I do think that you are right. We have to work in unison. With the recent NBA championship, which is a simple metaphor, you had a group of young people that had never achieved that level of success. And they didn't worry about anybody else. The team focused on each other. They knew what the plan was. They stayed focused, and they were able to achieve greatness. And that's what it's got to be. We black folks, I understand we got a whole lot of problems, but we can't be stymied by these community stripes and beefs and all of that stuff. It just seems like, you know, this app is just run rampant with that at this point. It's like people that just keep asking why, and nobody is taking time out to go and study and read and learn and develop. Like, they're just not doing it, obviously, because if you were doing that, you would see less of these type of rooms. You would see less of this vitriol. You would absolutely unequivocally see less of it. But yeah, So at some point, people got to pull back and sharpen it. So and I'll land with this. There was a old lumberjack and a new lumberjack. The new lumberjack comes in, muscular, great body, built for seawalling in the prime of his youth. And each day, the older lumberjack would come back with a higher ratio of wood. And the guy would go out, the young guy would go out every day and work real hard, right? And one day he finally asked the OG, he's like, OG, how do you do this? Like, I'm strong, I got muscles, I work faster, but every day you come back with more lumber. He says, son, I take time out to sharpen my axe. Right? So we need to sharpen our axe. We got to sharpen our axe. We got to prepare our tools. We have to lay out we got to assess the terrain. You know what the terrain is. This is a fucking wild terrain. We have a president in charge that runs this country like a game show. He's putting pressure on the Senate to sign this by July 4th so that he can package that up into a promotional Independence Day. I got it signed, and the irony that signing by July 4th is contrary to our very fucking Constitution. Yet, he wants to rewrite history and make a claim that this bill is some type of liberation or declaration of independence from whatever is in his small mind. So these are the things that we're up against. We have to be more creative. We got to be more agile. We got to start. This ain't the time to get stuck. And we got to be agile. We got to have cognitive agility. That's what I'm saying. We got to have cognitive agility. When we see the bullshit, we call it. We assess it. Boom, we move on. We see it. We call it. Boom, we move on. And then we create a data bank of everything that we know is going down and what's going on, and then legally we get our lawyers and we get our legal, because that's what we need, powerful attorneys that really understand law to just be constantly funded so they can combat this bullshit. Anyway, I'm rambling. I land.
Yeah, I think that it can look a lot of different ways, right? People talk about whatever needs to happen in their own, as it pertains to their own community, and that's great. Totally fine. Like that's how it should look. But there needs to be some overarching unity around, that some kind of understanding of what we're fighting and what we're for, and it really shouldn't be that hard to frame it.
So, Senator Thomas too, so when that voted against the bill, just announced that he is not going to run for re-election. And I guess Trump was threatening him yesterday
That's what they doing. They taking all the senior people. They're gonna target them. Look, just sign this bill. Get out of here. This shit is nasty work, man. This shit is nasty work, and it's so easy.
That's great, though. We should applaud that. That's a wonderful thing. Now we can target Tom Tillis and try to get him on our side as much as possible.
Oh,
in North Carolina,
they're not going to sign the bill.
So he's not running again because Trump is putting the pressure on him. He's turning the screws, and he's like, I'm not going to sell out my state. And if Tom Tillis, who's not exactly a centrist Republican, is pushing back against Donald Trump, it means that you've got a lot more opportunity to build with him. The way that, Democrats have built with Lisa Murkowski, for example. Doesn't mean you have to, embrace him completely, but, I mean, if you need to make space for Tom Tillis to be able to combat what's coming, let's go. Let's do it. I mean, you don't have to agree on everything. You can agree on 52% and work with that. So to me, that's a great thing. We've seen this before. Who's a good example, just briefly, who's a really good example was Jeff Flake. If people remember what happened to Jeff Flake, it's a perfect analog.
They're calling it patriotic populism. What Mamdani does. What kind of system do you have where now Mamdani is, for all intents and purposes, in the spirit of things, the leader? In the spirit of things. You see what I'm saying, Your Honor? Where you've got somebody, what is he, 30-something years old, 33, 30, somebody know? is
Something like that.
they're talking about him on CNN. Both Democratic leaders embrace Mamdani or run from him. Okay, they run from him, but who do they run to? Bernie is the savior. You know what I'm saying? So I feel your energy.
Well, keep on talking. Somebody decided they want to record. Keep on talking.
Oh, shit. That's what
Playing Beyonce.
some
The person's not even coming to the device.
Yeah, put in some noise.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the Dao De Jing. I'm just gonna leave it on replay.
Do you want to come see? I live just around the...
Tao Te Ching can be translated as the Book of the Imminence of the Way, or the Book of the Way and of how it manifests itself in the world, or simply the Book of the Way. Since it is already well known by its Chinese title, I have let that stand.
Everybody, we all got different skill sets, man. Use me. You look, listen. Use me. Feel free to tap into me if there's any value. If you need something from me, you like whatever. You see, I got an argument for some shit. Use me. Just don't abuse me. But yeah, fuck that. Yeah, tap into each other. Like, we literally gotta tap into each other because everybody got certain strengths. You know.
Except for Norma. He has no strengths. Just put up.
Oh, I was saying what's up to the ladies in the space part, man. What up, dudes? I just want to acknowledge the ladies in the space. What up?
Hey, Robert. Hey, Moosey Moose.
Hey,
How you guys?
oh, that was how you doing, Patty? How you doing, Michelle?
Hey, Rosalind. Hi, you know what I think? I think, you know, they literally had the funeral of two Democrats who were murdered politically, and they did not bat an eye. And they've done violence against other Democratic politicians. I think we're in a different paradigm. And I think that we do need to think. It's so mind-blowing that it's really hard for us to really deal on the level that is happening. I mean, really think about that. We've had political murders, and the president didn't even talk about it. They've had statements like, you know, it's okay not to treat a veteran if he's a Democrat. that's the level we're at. So I think that the United States is in such peril at this time that we need to focus on that when we think in partisan terms, because they're literally fighting Democrats, right? They don't care if Democrats die. That's what they're saying. If Democrats die, it's okay with them. So when we think in a partisan way, we're playing into their game. We have to save the United States in a united way. So that's why the No Kings movement, which is a movement that means all of us, is the right to me movement. It's a movement that says we still want the United States. We still want the whole thing. And because when we go back to partisan fighting, they're going to crush us. They don't care if Democrats die. And we want both sides of the United States to live. That's why they're fighting in California. Because they actually want to crush California because they see California as a democratic place.
It's a stronghold.
Yeah. So that's why they're like, no, just keep the Californians down. That's what they really do. That's what that's really about. Do violence in California in a democratic place. That's where they're at. We have to think in a new way. This is really hard, and when we only want to fight the Democrats, we're losing because we're on their battle. We have to fight for the United States. That's why you guys, it's got to be bigger. We can get back to partisanness after we save the United States.
It's well said.
How do you
That's well
fight
said.
for the
Hold
United
on. Right, let me say this. The last time I checked, I don't know, gentlemen, let me know. But the last time I checked, when an organization, a group, or an entity sits down and opens up a map, and they look at that map, and they want to figure out territorially where there are weaknesses, and you come up with a plan, and then once you come up with that plan, you disseminate that plan to your troops, and your troops go out and they wage war. They wage an attack on that given territory. In this case, it's the ICE agencies, which have been federalized, right? That is Mr. Trump's personal army. They have found a way. They've stumbled upon a way to have it so that he can have his own unofficial militia, so to speak, right? So when you do strategy, when you're looking at terrain and you come, that's war. Like we literally are in the precipices of a civil war, right? It's not going to look like a traditional civil war, right? Civil war begins with civil unrest. And if you look at how things have been mapped out, there's this constant narrative of the states versus the federal, right? Same thing that happened before. And so this thing has begun. I said this months ago. I swear, I'm getting tired of saying I predicted this or I analyzed it this way. I said that there would be mass protests, and we have mass protests. I said that it's only a matter of time before one particular incident occurs where all hell breaks loose in terms of people just say, oh man, later for it. Like they can't go on with their regular lives. They can't go to work in peace. They can't be at peace because so much around them is crumbling apart that people are just going to have to stand up and respond to it and react to it and pay attention to it and figure it out. And I think we're at that point right now. I really think that we're at that point, especially with the recent rulings. We're at that point. There is a war. There's an attack. And certainly there's an attack being waged upon certain Americans, a lot of Americans, right? And so we have to take that very seriously. Like, it's not a joke, it's not a game. This is for real. Alain, and thank you for your presentation, Ross.
Well, okay, I heard, I'm back to what Sister Rosalind said. She said, okay, it's an American issue. How do you, which is a political system, when you say America, what he's doing is very much what you might say by the book, meaning there's Supreme Court justices involved, there's actual offices called ICE, there's, so if, if you're gonna still believe in the system of things, there's a way to do it. But how do you do it without anything to, if all the hope is on the Democratic Party and nobody's willing to talk about a third party, then the only choice is to change who's inside the Democratic Party. It seems to me, just as looking at it.
You don't always have to talk, bro. You just let it breathe. Be comfortable with the silence, man.
You don't have to always have an issue with whenever I talk, and I let everybody else talk. I don't know what it is. You should study yourself and find out what
you hear everything that Rosalind just said. It's a microphone inside your mouth. That's what it is.
Get it.
About Lao Tzu, its author, there's practically nothing to be said. He may have been an older contemporary of Confucius, 551 to 479 BCE, and may have held the position of archive keeper in one of the petty kingdoms of the time. But all the information that has come down to us is highly suspect. Even the meaning of his name is uncertain. The most likely interpretations, the old master, or more picturesquely, the old boy. Like an Iroquois woodsman, he left no traces. All he left us is his book, the classic manual on the art of living.
Look at that
written
link in
the
the
style
chat
of
to tell me if
gem-like
the streaming was still going on, because he started up again. The link that I put in the chat, can you guys click on that to tell me if it's still on?
I'm checking.
Okay.
I think when you have, I don't think it should be organized around the Democratic Party.
Wait, I think it's still going on because it's private. Nah, that means he blocked you. I can see it on this side. Hold on.
It's private for me too. This is what
Yeah.
he does when he doesn't want us to report him to YouTube.
I don't know, figure it out.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, he must have blocked us.
I can go in. Someone else.
So what's going on, Winter? I can't hear your voice, Winter. What's on your mind,
Give us a
man?
second. Someone's streaming the room. We're trying to figure out who that person is. We're trying to get the stream canceled. So, un momento. Was anybody able to click on it? I'm gonna put it in the chat. The link is in the chat. If y'all can try to click on it, report it. But for me, it's blocked. Yeah, he just logged me. Let me see if I can. He definitely went back on after First Lady. After he ended the live stream, he started one up again.
Yeah,
He blocked me on.
And so this is an example. Yeah, this is an example how agents like that, like they pull data, like this, that. And I said earlier, it's not gonna happen on Clubhouse, right? You know, we can have a conversation, but we all know not to go into too much detail, right? You gotta know that, right? Yeah. We know this.
I guess we could continue talking.
Hey TC, so do y'all want to hear the men's thing or not? Because I mean, we could just open up a space. That's fine.
What men's thing?
Yeah.
Did you get the keys to the house, Lisa? Excuse me,
Where's
First
Black
Lady.
I have keys to a whole bunch of houses. It don't have to be in 420. Y'all just say y'all want it done and it's done.
Ooh.
She got that juice.
You understand that?
Where's Black at?
First Lady's a locksmith.
Black
She's
is
got
not
all the keys.
I think the Duke
What?
series was a cool series for what it was. I don't think it's up to y'all, but
I don't know, First Lady, what do you want to do? Because he's the one that usually does the format and the questions and all that shit. I don't know anything about that.
He said he was gonna open it in his house today.
Oh,
He said no more Airbnbs.
Mm-hmm.
wise.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I know that other room has a school that room that's scheduled, so I don't know.
Yeah. So
Did he say what time?
I guess the same time, 3 o'clock, 3:30. I don't know.
I mean, but it's not like I have a house. I mean, if we don't want to, if you can't do it in politically correct, we have a house. It's okay. People got houses.
Yeah, we got houses up in this bitch. I got over 10,000 followers. Y'all better stop.
Hello.
Excuse me?
Got that? No, set it up. Set it up. I don't do the 10,000.
You so stupid.
I'm not playing. Seriously, you got to be consistent. Consistency is the key. Being consistent will change your life. And one monkey don't stop no show. Okay, that's what y'all gotta understand. Gotta push through.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to step on his toes either.
On whose toes? But that's what I'm saying. If you schedule it, and he doesn't, if he has a room, then fine, we can move the people over there. If he doesn't, then we still have a space, and it's just there. You know, like.
Yeah, but I do think that they need to start branching on their own, like, to be honest. Like, like, when you keep relying on other people, it's like, sometimes it's just, like, you know how sometimes it was late, or...
Yeah, but this sounds like defeat right now. So he might have it, but because he's not here, still doesn't mean that we don't want to advertise it, but it's still happening. So if he shows up at 3 o'clock with his space, then fine, we'll do it in his space. I don't want it to stop just because of, trials and tribulations currently right now. That's all. If that's okay, but if not, then I'll be.
I don't think it's gonna stop, period. I don't think they're gonna stop. And if they don't, I mean, honestly, these men need to, like, doesn't he send out the agenda?
Yeah, they have a Telegram and yeah, they have a Telegram.
Look at people in the chat talking about, do they realize they have an audience and we don't know what they're talking about?
So the men have their own. The men have.
We're talking about the men. Okay.
If y'all didn't catch it, you didn't catch it. It ain't funny. It means they ain't been in there. So, but anyway, welcome to the stage, TC. Point, if you want to come up, come on up.
Interesting. I sent it to you earlier, TC, because we were talking about something, but TC.
Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, so I'm trying to get a temperature.
Well, we were talking about Trump right now. Rosalind brought up a good point regarding the King's March and what's happening. The Big Beautiful Bill is what we were actually talking about originally.
Okay. I made a prediction about this, right? Like back on June.
Of course you did.
What's your prediction?
And it's recorded. And I made 3 predictions. I predicted that it would get out of the Senate, that it would be taken up by the House and passed by the House by July 4th. And I predicted that Elon Musk was going to endorse it. All counter narratives, by the way. So
Elon ain't endorsed it. You didn't hear what happened this morning?
Nope.
Or yesterday?
Or yesterday?
We'll see what happens.
Wait a minute, you didn't get it? You haven't heard Elon Musk?
No,
you didn't read his tweet?
I heard what he said. be said about the bill, which is why I made the prediction that I did, because I think he will eventually endorse it.
Well accepted.
Right, I guess your crystal ball is cracked. Needs a repair.
So you think if tonight he's gonna change his mind and he's gonna repost something and say, "Hey guys, that bill I was talking about yesterday is I'm in love with it again today."
I made this prediction back on June 4th that he would eventually endorse the bill when it's passed in its completed version. So let's see what happens. I could be wrong.
He doesn't know
Oh,
what's
okay.
happening. Like,
I got you.
it's
I got you.
what we're talking about.
I got you. So you're saying that now that the Senate has made some changes, that Elon is going to get on the boat. That's what you said.
No. This was before the Senate ever received the bill. This was back when the bill was still in the House.
I got it. I understand that part, TC. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying because of the fact that you're still holding on to the hope that Elon is going to endorse it, now that the Senate has made changes, you're saying that he might still endorse it. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah, 100%, yeah. In its final version, I'm saying he will endorse it, correct.
Jeez.
And I don't know if the hope is still... I don't know if I necessarily hope that Elon Musk would endorse the bill, because I don't care whether Elon Musk endorses it or not. I was just predicting that he would.
So when you say prediction, you're so proud to predict, so do you put money on this? What are the Vegas odds? Why are we so strong about the prediction?
I mean, I personally I'm not a fan of Kalshi, but I would be more than happy to make a wager like that if people were interested in that wager.
What? What is up with your addiction to gambling? What is happening?
Well, we know some people don't pay their bets when they do lose a bet. So I mean,
TC, behave. You've been doing really good. You've been doing really good. You've been doing really good, buddy. You've been doing great. Ever since you had your wife in your picture, you've been much cooler. Let's keep the temperature that way. Thank you.
Yep, carry up some lunch, but be listening.
Okay. All right, Roslyn. Who else was talking? Somebody already say something?
My energy bill dropped from $150 to $50 by doing this.
No.
How do we feel about the bill?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know what they changed. They made some changes to it yesterday. I don't know what the changes are. Are the changes for the better? Are they for the worse? I don't know.
I mean, if you're
I know when it left the house to the Senate, it was trash. Go ahead.
If you're poor, middle class, it's just as terrible as stuff was. I mean, the ways that they're making changes don't benefit people who are hurting. So, if you get any kind of social benefit from the U.S. government, it's going to get harder to get it, harder to keep. If you believe in, infrastructure and other kinds of services that the government provides, those are going to be further apart. It's just basically a transfer of wealth from, working people to the rich. The rich are 84% wealthier, the poor are 84% poor. And when I say the poor, I mean the bottom. It's 60% or something last I checked. So I'm not talking the poor sort of poor. I'm talking about the poor 60%. I mean, it's crazy what's in there. And it's just, also there's a bunch of things that are going to shift responsibility to the states. And the states don't have extra money. So the states are going to end up in a situation where they're not able to pay to even make up any of the difference. And you're going to have a whole other problem with that. And that's just going to come down the line. So they kick the can to the states. And so if you're a red state, it's going to be an extra bad because they're not going to step up and they don't have the tax revenue to do it anyway. And if you're in a blue state, I hope your state happens to be flush because most of them don't have the kind of cash to make up gaps in, say, Medicaid, which is a massive program. So, yeah, it's going to be early 80s Reagan devastation, except this is probably bigger than what Reagan did.
want it?
No, I'm trying to figure out where's the block coming from, because there is no block. The Senate did their procurement and have the votes. It's 51 to 49.
Right.
And then it has to go back to the House. Now, I was hoping that the House would, reject it, but as Patty has said, she don't think that that's going to happen. That the House is going to, what's the name? So I'm just trying to figure out, when you say that's why we blocking it, I'm trying to understand where we blocking it at.
Okay, so where we're blocking it is the tweet I told you about last night.
Right.
So, what that tweet, I told you that tweet has so much in it. He's also talking to Republicans that are in his back pocket. Right?
Right.
So, that's not out there in the open, but behind the scenes, technically, yeah, it's blocked, so we're expecting a tweet from Trump either today or in the morning. Okay? So I told you this was hot. Now, I just wanted to add this to the stage for the audience.
Oh, weird.
I don't talk to the stage. When we talk about bills like this that are controversial, and someone on stage, I think it was Walt Water, that said certain benefits for the people, and I heard him. Now, there are certain politicians, there's a funding thing that goes on behind the scenes of where they get their money from, right? So, are your people fighting for you, the people, or for themselves? So let's take a case in point. Jasmine Crockett, would you say she fights for the people? Patty? First Lady, would you say she fights for the people, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think we need to play the music again, because...
Wrong, hang on.
Okay, but
I was waiting in your answer.
Wait a minute, listen.
Your answer
While
was
you're
yes.
talking, you're talking, you're going to have to talk over the music, because somebody's recording this. So, go ahead. No, we don't need a commercial.
One song only.
Radiant with humor and grace, and large-heartedness and deep wisdom, one of the wonders of the world. People usually think of Lao Tzu as a hermit, a dropout from society, dwelling serenely in some mountain hut, unvisited except perhaps by the occasional traveler arriving from a 60s joke to ask, what is the meaning of life? But it's clear from his teachings that he deeply cared about society, if society means the welfare of one's fellow human beings. His book is, among other things, a treatise on the art of government, whether of a country or of a child. The misperception may arise from his insistence on wei wu wei, literally doing, not doing, which has been seen as passivity. Nothing could be further from the truth. A good athlete can enter a state of body awareness in which the right stroke or the right movement happens by itself, effortlessly, without any interference of the conscious will. This is a paradigm for non-action, the purest and most effective form of action. The game plays the game. The poem writes the poem. We can't tell the dancer from the dance. Less and less do you need to force things, until finally you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. Nothing is done because the doer has wholeheartedly vanished into the deed. The fuel has been completely transformed into flame. This nothing is in fact everything. It happens when we trust the intelligence of the universe in the same way that an athlete or a dancer trusts the superior intelligence of the body. Hence Lao Tzu's emphasis on softness. Softness means the opposite of rigidity and is synonymous with suppleness, adaptability, endurance. Anyone who has seen a Tai Chi or Aikido master doing not doing will know how powerful this softness is. Lao Tzu's central figure is a man or woman whose life is in perfect harmony with the way things are. This is not an idea, it is a reality. I have seen it. The master has mastered nature, not in the sense of conquering it, but of becoming it. In surrendering to the Tao, in giving up all concepts, judgments, and desires, her mind has grown naturally compassionate. She finds, deep in her own experience, the central truths of the art of living, which are paradoxical only on the surface, that the more truly solitary we are, the more compassionate we can be. The more we let go of what we love, the more present our love becomes. The clearer our insight into what is beyond good and evil, the more we can embody the good. Until finally she is able to say, in all humility, I am the Tao, the truth, the life. The teaching of the Tao Te Ching is moral in the deepest sense. Unencumbered by any concept of sin, the Master doesn't see evil as a force to resist, but simply as an opaqueness, a state of self-absorption, which is in this
370,000 Fed contributions from PACs representing corporations or business associations since 2022. These have a spending limit, I don't have my glasses on, are different from super PACs, blah, blah, we know that. Her donors include a mix of PACs and non-PACs, of course, right? Including pharmaceutical grants, including, now here comes the companies, including AbbVie, Gilead Sciences, and financial service companies like BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, and then here's where it gets interesting for me, because I trade these bitches. Major defense contractors, including Lockheed Martin and RTX, and brands including McDonald's, Home Depot, CVS, Verizon, and Toyota. And a lot of that was mentioned in Elon's text last night, and I was trying to tell you guys, I don't think you understand what he just said in just 2 sentences. It's a little deeper than you think. So, Jasmine Crockett is one of many that I said are not speaking out for the people. In other words, you guys in this room speak out louder for Americans than Jasmine Crockett and the whole Black Caucus, right? And I raised that issue, but I raised that issue to tell you something that I'm telling you now. So how many times do I have to fucking tell you this? So, oh, they're representing the motherfucker, fuck you, and fuck out of here. Alright? Y'all got the game all fucked up. And so that's why I troll you. That's why I troll you. Because I know the real trolls are you motherfuckers. You niggas is trolling. I ain't trolling.
I don't think games are trolling. I never accused you of that.
Wait. And then there's the support for Hamas, which is cool. I don't have a problem with that if that's what you do, you know, from Qatar, right? So she's down with that. Don't forget Qatar gave who? Trump a plane, right? Remember I raised all that last night. I mean, you guys gotta understand and read between the lines. It's not that hard to do. Shit, I'm a troll and I can do it. How the fuck you can? That's my question. That's my question.
Funny.
That's my question.
This is why he called her low IQ. Okay, alright.
But you're saying that, right, Point? And I believe everything you said. That was the reason why I brought up the whole tweet from yesterday and when I was talking to TC. So I learned that information from you, and I
persecuting and abusing me for more than 60 days. I've been harassed. I've been bullied. I've been called names, and I've been mistreated. And I'm calling my attorney.
I would never Point.
I'm calling my attorney. You'll hear from me. You'll hear from my attorney.
Crocodile tears are unbecoming of you, Point. I ain't never seen you do that shit. Don't start now. You ain't something. I expect that from everyone else. I don't expect that.
But that's what politicians do. They have a reservoir of crocodile tears on demand, right?
You ain't running for president.
RTX. When I read this about Jasmine, I was like, and I sent it to a good friend of mine, a friend I trade with, and she wrote back, oh, options too, huh? Options means, you know, that's what I trade, options. Meaning, if you're down with RTX and all, you will always get those phone calls, you know what I'm saying, Patty? Remember those phone calls that I tell you, you know, that tells you what's popping and, you know, what to do with 10,000 or 20,000, you know, turn it into 150, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now, I tried to hook you all up with that, but you face.
You need to stop telling stories. I don't like when people
It's
talk
all
about this.
good in the hood.
Is gender an option?
What do you mean is gender an option? An option for what?
To pick your gender.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, is
The
an
normal-
option, is it?
I don't know. Did they ask you that question?
No, I got this. I got this on a higher level. El Normo, based on the recent events in the Persian Gulf, etc., in the Mideast that are going on, could you enlighten the audience at all on Project Lavender and how it has done what has been done in Gaza? And it was not the Israelis that did anything. It was Lavender and Palantir. Could you elaborate on that, please?
Okay, could you try to form that into a sentence? Try again, please.
Watch him run.
I'm right here. What's the question?
Elaborate for the audience about Project Lavender.
Okay, what's your source on Project Lavender?
I told you he'd run. Now there's a reason.
I'm right here. What's your source?
There's a reason. There's a reason.
I want to see what... I'm not running, I'm right here.
How many dead in Gaza so